Okay, I'm Sylvie.
I'm Bella.
So this is our literary conversation about the poems for Beowulf. So we're kind of starting off with like the question, which of the work's ideas remain relevant? Um, so basically, the first one, Helley's translation, it's a lot older, like styled, like written, so it doesn't feel as relevant for like students. Um, So it's like the Heaney translation is just like a lot more modern feeling, and I feel like with like students and like high schoolers especially, it's like easier to read and understand and relate to.
Yeah, and because it has like slang, it's more like the students will understand it more. But it's also a school thing, like a school story. So the slang in it makes it like cringy, which will catch their attention more
Yeah.
because it's a cringy thing that they're reading. So
Right, like you can remember it easier.
yeah, you remember it more because even though it's like it makes you cringe, it just captures your attention.
Right,
It's like
right,
a
yeah,
really
yeah.
bad car crash,
Yeah,
basically.
or like the hashtag thing, like that's like
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
that's just a couple years old, but you're already like no one is saying that anymore, and
Yeah.
like it just like
Or the
feel like
slap.
shivers when you like read
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
But it's still like it's memorable, and you were there when that like slang kind of happened and was at its height.
Yes.
So just like you can like relate to it more. You're like, oh, I remember when that like was
When that was
used a
in,
lot,
yeah.
right? And it's not like both translations have like themes that you can relate to these days, especially with like the idea of revenge and kind of like letting go. Because like there's like this idea of so people like someone gossips about you and you just like you want to do it back to them
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like that's just fair for you. But like
Oh wait, that's what they said.
yeah, but like that's like you just have to like kind of let go with that, and that's like both translations kind of use those ideas,
Yeah.
but because of how they're written.
Yes, but I feel like the second one, the most that is it Heaney? The Heaney translation is more. It's more captivating to students because
Yeah.
the first one, it's like old English,
Right, and you
which
expect that, like with a poem that's like originally written so long ago, you expect it to be like barely understandable.
yeah, but it's also very like kind of unmotivating for students because of how difficult it is to read and to understand that it they just like give
Yeah,
up
even with
easily
the
on it.
translation, like it's a modern translation, but it's still written in a style that feels old. So like
Yeah.
it captures the essence of like the original like feeling and like time period, but it's still like it feels kind of like similar to a Shakespeare like story. Like you can't understand that very well.
And that's a big turn off, honestly,
Yeah.
for most students. Because they can't understand it, so then they just like leave it.
Right.
Whereas the cringy one, the Heaney one, it's oh yeah, it is less violent as well. So I guess it's almost like comedy in a way because of the slang it uses and how like the characters talk about it. And it's a lot more lighthearted than the first one.
It feels that way
Yeah.
because it just feels more modern, right?
Yeah.
Even though like the story is like it uses the same story. It's just like the way that it's written and the different like the bro and like different like the hashtag and like different like modern like slang like slay or whatever. They just like it feels less less yeah kind of it feels like you can read it at a better like more understandable.
It flows more too, because with the not the modern English. Yeah, like the modern English and then the slang. Okay, so the modern English one, it doesn't flow as much because you can't understand what's happening because it's difficult to understand and to read because it's still like old English.
It's got this like essence of it, right?
Yeah, and you just kind of know it's like I don't know how to explain it.
Like you don't have as much motivation. Right?
Yeah.
You can't like read it in one sitting. You gotta like take a couple breaks and then go back to it.
Yeah, and whereas the slang one is you can do that because we're used to the language and then you can just like
it just feels more comfortable and familiar.
Yeah.
For their ideas though, both of them have ideas that are very like you can relate them really well to like modern day and high school. Like the thing I was talking about, like the gossip, like the revenge and having the cycle of like someone did something bad to me and I want to do it back to them, but like and then it just continues over and over again and no one's happy and it's like why
like
would
the
you do
eye
that?
for an eye
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Which is really sad because it just shows the level of immaturity there was. And like in a high school setting, I guess it's more expected because technically we're still children.
Right.
So
But like I don't know.
then like in the modern English version, it's like it's like adults and
Right.
like a serious thing.
It feels like they should know better.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They should realize this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like even though it was normal for them, it's like maybe someone should just stop. You know?
It needs to stop somewhere,
Right.
and then actually like talk about it or try and problem solve instead of you did it, so I'm gonna do it too.
And
so.
that's accepted and that's fair.
Yeah.
Of course it is. But is it
like
really?
I get it, an eye for an eye, whatever. But
Like that's what
be
you
reasonable.
want. Like your emotion kind of like gets the better of you, and you're like for Beowulf, he kills Grendel. He doesn't have to, but he still does it anyway. Like Grendel's already running away.
He wanted to show off.
Right, and he wants to show that he's like he can beat Grendel and like prove to like the Danes and like everyone around him that he's a hero. But like
I'm the only one in it.
does he? Yeah, like does he need to? Oh really? Okay, hold on, let me forward. He's like he doesn't need to prove. He doesn't need to prove himself by killing someone that's already running away. There's no need to do that. And then when Grendel's mom like kills like the king's like close friend or like so he's a close relationship with him.
Yeah.
And then
everyone's then he goes back and kills his mom.
And I was like, what?
It just doesn't make sense.
By your rules, she should be allowed to do that, but you think no.
It was already. It should have stopped when the friend was killed because it was done. It was Grendel died. So
the death price was paid, and even though like it shouldn't have happened in the first place, it was like a fair trade. But
it's not an eye for an eye for an eye for an eye.
Yeah,
it's just an eye for an eye.
It should not be a cycle. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's good.